Hey gang, it's me, Dr. Steve. CNN's Don Lemon did it again. He did the seemingly impossible. He opened his mouth and embarrassed himself even worse than normal. We're going to look at the latest and see why it appears that his days at CNN are mercifully coming to an end. CNN's Don Lemon, the news anchor who openly compared Trump to Hitler, as well as calling him a racist, a fraud, and a con man, and even questioned Trump's mental fitness, all while giving bumbling Biden a complete and total pass. Yes, that Don Lemon looks like he's finally being put out to permanent pasture in that ever-growing graveyard of former CNN anchors. Whatever's left of the remaining viewers of CNN will not be seeing anything of Don Lemon for the foreseeable future, because last week he decided to open his mouth once again and drivel more anti-Republican nonsense like this.
This whole talk about age makes me uncomfortable. I think it's the wrong road to go down. She says people, politicians or something are not in their prime. Nikki Haley isn't in her prime. Sorry. When a woman is considered to be in her prime in her 20s and 30s and maybe 40s.
What are you talking? Wait.
That's not according to me.
Prime for what?
It depends. I mean, it's just like prime. If you look it up, if you Google when is a woman in her prime, it'll say 20s, 30s, and 40s. I don't necessarily.
40s. So I got another.
I'm not saying
decade.
I agree with that. So I think she has to be careful about saying that politicians aren't in their prime.
We need to qualify. Are you talking about prime for like childbearing, or are you talking about prime for being president?
What the facts are. Google it. Everybody at home. When is a woman in her prime? It says 20s, 30s, and 40s. And I'm just saying Nikki Haley should be careful about saying that politicians are not in their prime, and they need to be in their prime when they serve, because she wouldn't be in her prime according to Google or whatever it is.
How does anyone, I mean literally anyone, take this guy seriously? Who at CNN thought this guy was an asset to the company? By the way, I did that, and many others did that. We Googled, when is a woman in her prime, whatever the hell that actually means. I guess Margaret Thatcher wasn't in her prime, or hey, how about Ruth Bader Ginsburg for that matter? But when I Googled it, the very first article I came across claimed that it's not until women hit their 50s when they begin professionally and personally optimally benefiting from all their accumulated wisdom and experience. Seriously, I mean, who on earth thought this guy was an asset to a once major cable news outlet? This is literally middle school level conversations this guy invokes. It's so bizarre. And the amount of pushback this king of wokeness got was pretty intense. Trey Gowdy came out almost immediately to ask the obvious. Yo, Lemon, if that's true about a 51-year-old woman, then what about a senile 80-year-old man? Even the leftist advocacy group Ultraviolet issued a stinging rebuke of Lemon, demanding that he be indefinitely suspended from CNN. In fact, CNN actually ran this clip on their programming of the Bill Maher show over the weekend.
Well, and as Don Lemon told us on CNN, women actually can't run for president because he said we're past our prime once we get to our 40s. But since you have to be 35 to run, it's like this really tight window between 35 and 40.
Yeah, that was Sarah Isgur, a former spokesperson for the Department of Justice under President Trump. So even CNN is piling on Lemon. Well, that line about women in their prime sounded like it came from a middle school classroom. Well, that comment ended up sending little Donnie to detention, or better, he's being suspended. He won't be coming back to the morning show for the indefinite future. It is being widely reported there are rumblings inside CNN that his days at the network are basically over, that he's become an incurable distraction, and given his obvious incompetence, given that he himself has yet to reach his own prime, that distraction isn't going anywhere as long as he remains on the lineup. Wait until you see the latest embarrassment. It's crazy. But first, did you know that the latest data from the American Heart Association indicates that adults with fatty liver were 3.5 times more likely to have heart failure than those without? The American Liver Foundation says that 100 million Americans have fatty liver, which means many people are at risk. Patriots, we cannot save America if we don't take care of ourselves first. I mean, think about it. We throw everything at our livers: cholesterol, alcohol, toxins, Tylenol, statins, cigarettes. That's why so many of us have a sluggish, fatty liver that makes us gain weight and lose energy. For decades now, your liver helped you with over 500 key functions every day. Now it's time for you to help your liver. There is a solution, and that comes from our sponsor, Liver Health Formula. It's an all-natural supplement which contains 12 clinically proven botanicals that help recharge and protect your liver. It's manufactured right here in the USA and approved by American doctors. You could try Liver Health Formula and receive 5 free gifts when you order today. First, you receive a free bottle of blood sugar formula to reduce sugar cravings, and you also get 4 free ebooks to support every aspect of your health. Click on that link below or go to getliverhelp.com/Turley right now to claim your risk-free supply of Liver Health Formula and all 5 bonus gifts. That's getliverhelp.com/Turley. As we reported just days ago, this is all but the latest in Don Lemon embarrassments that just plagued this struggling network. After he lost his primetime gig several weeks back, which was a ratings embarrassment, by the way, Lemon was moved to the CNN Morning Show, which has even worse ratings if that were possible. And soon thereafter, Lemon reportedly started getting in all of these tiffs with morning show co-anchor Caitlin Collins. Word on the street is that Lemon screamed at her at one point behind the scenes and had such a temper tantrum over his accusing her of constantly interrupting him on air. It was so bad, and she was so distressed, she reportedly ran out of the studio with the film crew who witnessed the whole thing. They were just left shocked. And actually that tension between it boiled up on one of their latest shows when Lemon torched one of her interviews.
We're out of time. Unfortunately, we have a lot more questions for you. I know you have a bunch of hearings this week. Thank you for taking time to join us.
Thank you for having me. All right. Thank you. That's going to be it. That's the time that we're in, where facts are sort of flexible. And
that's why we got Caitlin Collins on the Hill,
fact-checking
in real time. It was a great interview.
Citing incredible sources, like citing the New York Post as a credible source and saying that facts are, it's just, I can't believe that we're here.
Caitlin, that was a great interview. All right, moving on.
Anyway, well, now moving on, because listen, that's a big issue when it comes to the American, hold on please with the music. That's a big issue when it comes to the American people. The American people are going to have to suffer through all of this stuff, from election deniers to people who don't believe in facts. We don't have a shared reality, and now it's taken center stage to people like Marjorie Taylor Greene, an election denier, a conspiracy theorist, a QAnon sort of influencer or supporter presiding over the House of Representatives. Mm-hmm. It's a sad day for America when that happens, and it's a sad time for us when we have to deal with that.
That's right. You actually heard that. You actually heard that. You heard Don Lemon, whose own network, CNN, peddled the notion that the Hunter Biden laptop was Russian disinformation. He just trashed the New York Post, which actually broke the whole truth of the story, which of course ironically demonstrates how out of touch with reality he actually is. So again, I ask, who at CNN actually thinks this guy is an asset to this struggling cable news outlet? Maybe that's the person that needs to lose their job. Regardless, I think we're seeing the days of Don Lemon coming to a merciful end. Otherwise, frankly, I just don't see how CNN survives the likes of a guy like this. And that's because he's quickly becoming the face of CNN. And CNN, whether anyone likes it or not, is one of the single most distrusted names in fake news. According to Statista, only 20% of the public has a lot of confidence in CNN's reporting. That despite the fact that Hollywood consistently portrays CNN as the default representative of American media. Only 20% of the public puts a lot of confidence in CNN's reportings. And that, of course, is reflected in their ratings. They've seen their ratings plummet by 90% over the last year. And we've noted in other videos, that's because we're now living in an era known as the Information Society, where populations can actually fact check the legacy media, right? Populations can actually do their own research and fact check what Don Lemon is saying, like doing their own Google searches. And so if CNN wants to have any viable future as a legitimate cable news network, they will only do so in a future that most certainly does not include the hysterical antics of one Don Lemon. As always, make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button, and you will definitely want to check out my latest video on President Trump announcing a massive ballot harvesting plan. You're not going to want to miss it. So make sure to click on that link, and I'll see you over there. God bless.